prepare for the week. That was quick. Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome to Sippin with Sky Self Care Sunday. Um, Sunday. What time is it? It's going on 7 o'clock. So Sunday is the time that I like just really wind down and I write down, the things that I want to do for the week. The wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur is you can manage yourself within the container of time the way that you see fit. And I call that finding your rhythm and staying in your lane. So I fully believe in staying in my lane. I fully believe in, finding a rhythm. It's like finding a speed in life. When you're on the highway, you have the fast lane and you have the slow lane. I normally kind of stay in the middle just in case I want to maneuver to each side. I hardly ever do I ever go in the fast lane. Uh, excuse me. I hardly ever go in the fast lane. I don't even know where that sneeze came from. I hardly ever go in the fast lane. I either stay in the middle lane or I go in, I guess, the moderate, or they would say the slow lane. Because we're living in a world where everything is zoom, 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 fast, 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 fast. And nobody knows how to really slow down. If you would take the time and just stop and take your pulse. Have you ever just took your pulse when there's nothing wrong with you, but just to see and to be in tune with the rhythm that is pulsating through your body, and then to synchronize your whole day to that flow? And so we're too worried about who's ahead of us, who's beside us. You know, when you find your rhythm in life, and you get in your lane and you mind your business, okay? When you mind the business that pays you, you're not concerned with all of that. None of that is a concern. None of it. And so you have just like, a peace about it. I'm doing this thing every day where I get up and I'm being intentional about regulating my nervous system. And it has literally changed my life, because what it does, it allows me to regulate my nervous system so that I can get into a flow, so I can create the flow of the day. It's almost like dancing. I used to love dancing when I was growing up. I still love dancing, but dancing or singing, dancing, like, think about New Edition. New Edition, they all know the steps. Everybody knows the steps. Everybody know what to do. But if you ever notice, Ralph is really good at this, and Michael Jackson was genius at it. He could step out of line and do what his spins and do what he gonna do, and then get right back into the flow. And that's what it is that you need to learn how to do. To, even if you have to step out of the lineup or of the formation, you still could, because it's about living life in a rhythm. And I remember when I lived in Philadelphia, and I wasn't really going through anything. You know how people just set themselves in your life just to be a distraction? And I had not learned how to really not be distracted. I had not learned yet how to focus when something was still distracting me. I'm good at it now, and I recognize when something is trying to distract me and detour me. Because if you're driving, I'm a defensive driver. I used to drive for Metro here in Houston, Texas. And when you're defensive driving, so say if you're driving on ice or something, and you kind of lose control of the car and the car starts to spin, you have to go in the direction that you're looking in. You don't turn, be like, oh, the car is turning. No, whatever direction you want the car to go in, that's the direction you look in. And so life is the same way. If you are going in a specific direction, you have a specific destination that you are trying to reach. Looking at someone else is not going to help you. It's going to a lot of times make you crash. Okay, that's why you have your mirrors. You have your mirrors to be able to look without you having to physically turn your head. Because when you turn your head, that's the direction you're going to shift everything in. And so I applied that same thing to the rhythm of my life. To the rhythm of my life, unexpected things will happen. Unfortunately, surprises will come, right? But even if you get out of formation, right? Even if you got to step out and deal with that thing, you know how to get back into the peace and the synchronicity and the flow of your life. It will not disrupt your whole world. It won't just shut down everything it is that you're doing. And so that's why, like for me, I'm very when I have to deal with things, I try to deal with it quickly and get back in formation. I try not to ruminate over it, depending on what it is, but I try not to ruminate over it. I'd be like, okay, let me deal with that and let me get back on track of what it is that I was doing. Because things will come. They will come to distract you. But another thing you have to realize, and I want you to really think about this. I want you to think about, I want you to look at everything in life that comes your way as data. What is it that I'm supposed to learn from this situation? Because some when you're distracted, you have no awareness. And here in Houston, oh my goodness, these drivers here, oh, they get on my nerves so bad. Because when you're driving, you're supposed to keep a cushion. You're supposed to have a certain amount of space in front of you. You're supposed to have a certain amount of space behind you and on the side of you. These people will not let you have not any space. If you have a little bit of space, they like snakes. They will wiggle themselves in the space. And you need, unfortunately, if something happens, you need reactionary time. I don't have nowhere to move. That's another reason why I go in the middle lane, because I'll be able to maneuver. If I need to hurry up and go left, I can go left. If I need to go right, I'll go right. But if I'm all the way over here, I got to go two lanes over there. So you have to really be aware, and I think that that's what distractions do. Distractions don't come to take your focus. Distractions come to give you data. It comes to give you information. I believe in allowing people to show their true colors. I believe because see the type of personality that I am, you can't be around me and be phony. If you phony, your mask is coming off. Okay, I'm the type of person where I'll snatch your mask off because I see that you phony, and I don't like phony people. You know what I mean? I don't like phony people. And so um I try to always say, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to see? What is it that I'm supposed to hear? What is it that I'm supposed to do with the data that I just got from this situation? And a lot of times, what people do is like if you're driving and then you see an accident, nobody is even paying attention to where they're going. Everybody rubbernecking, they all looking at the accident. No, you can't look at the accident. You have to still drive and look straight ahead. And now the traffic slows all the way down, because y'all want to be nosy. And I'm like, no, just drive. So finding your rhythm in life is also like the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise was chilling. The tortoise was like, hey, I know where I'm going. I know my destination. I don't care anything that you're ahead. Let me tell you something. I done seen people be ahead of people, and the people that was in the back came from the back and took over everybody and ended up in front. Matter of fact, we see Sha'Carri Richardson do it all the time. She be the underdog. They put her on the in the lane where you're basically almost just to totally disregard it. She took that lane and turned it into her lane and won. And that's what you have to do. You have to take your lane and win. And you cannot do that if every time something comes your way, you totally allow yourself to be discombobulated about it. One of the things I do not do, and this has taken me a lot of practice, I do not bring my yesterdays into my todays. Today was Sunday. Today is Sunday. And I had to um so settle some things, we call it in church we call it taking communion. Communion means you're settling something. It means that there's something going on that you have to make a major decision about. That's what I do, and I go and I come to a complete resolve about it. No matter what it is, no matter who is involved, I come to a resolve. I make a decision about it, and I close the door. Now, sometimes some things that I'm dealing with takes me a little bit longer to get there. It all depends on who it is, if the relationship is important to me, what it is. Because my personality is a go the extra mile. I'm the type of person that will want something for you more than you'll want it for yourself. And I've had to learn that you can't want for somebody more than what they want for themselves. So you're expending all of this energy, you know. And a classic example of that is prayer. I remember, just like being in church and, being on the prayer teams and stuff like that. And you're praying and people are calling you to pray. Oh, can you pray for me? Can you pray for me? And you are earnestly praying for them. You're waking up 1 and 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, day to day, praying for them. You done wrote them down in your prayer book. You're praying for, and then you call them, they sleep. You up 1 o'clock in the morning praying for their situation. You call them, they sleep. You'll be like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. How am I praying for you and waking up out my sleep for you more than you? And so now you got to regulate. You can't want for people more than what they want for themselves. And so it's the same thing in life. You have to learn how to get in your lane, mind your business. And you ever be going somewhere and you look up and you're there all the time. So I come here on Sundays, sipping with Skyy, because I want us to decompress. I want us to think about, our lives, how we're going to simplify our lives. I don't do goals. I don't do goals because goals don't work. New Year's resolutions and all that stuff do not work. You know why it don't work? Because your brain don't work that way. My business is built on neuroscience. I do brain principles. And what works is systems. I create systems in all my businesses. I create systems. All that running around over here and running around over there, we do not do that. The only time I do that is if I have to take my daughter somewhere or pick up my granddaughter, or take her somewhere or bring her with me or something like that. But in my day-to-day life, I don't operate that way. I do not. If I have to run errands, I will run errands and I'll look at my route and I'll say, okay, if I start here, okay, I'll end up right back here. I don't run over across town over here and then run over there and then run this way and then run that way. And then you wonder why you're tired and exhausted. I get up and I regulate and I find the flow. I get into the flow of my day. So it's almost like taking the pulse of your day. I look at my list and I see what things do I want to accomplish today. And that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm not on nobody's clock. I'm not on nobody's time. I make as much money as I want to, or not as much money if I don't want to work. Okay, so I still been trying to do this blitz where I'm coming on and selling my beauty product and selling the book and everything. But because I'm writing like two books right now, and I'm trying to prioritize everything. That's mainly my biggest thing. Which project am I going to work on today? And so today I said I'm going to stay up and I'm going to finish this book. I've been saying this since last week. I'm going to finish this book today before 12 o'clock, before Monday. I will be up. After I get off of here, I will finish this book because I really want people to, like right now, everybody is waiting for their taxes. I am not worried about no taxes. Okay. Whatever money that I could get on taxes, I can make in my business. And I love that. I love that the terms are all on me. It's determined about what time I want to work, how long I want to work, when I want to work, if I don't want to work. When you work for someone else, you don't have that freedom. You do not have those freedoms. And so, if I wake up and I say I need to make $3,000 today, then I can make $3,000 today if I want to. It depends on how much I want to work. So if I put that down on the things that I want to accomplish, I'm going to accomplish that. And what does that entail? And then I break that down and say, okay, I have to sell this amount of widgets. I have to go to this place. I have to go to that place. I'm getting ready to be like the mixtape queen. Remember how they used to like do their little mixtape and put them in the back of put them in the back of the car and go around and sell them? I'm about to be the mixtape queen right now. I want to go out and meet people and sell my stuff like on the street. That's what I want to do because I love talking to people. I enjoy talking to people. Unfortunately, a friend of mine, he just passed, and I did not get a chance to talk to him for the last time. I called him up. I always check on him. He's an older guy. He's an older guy. He's married. He is was the right hand man of my state representative because I do work in my community. Because I'm a social entrepreneur. And so social entrepreneur is someone who goes into the community and sees the needs of the people and then come back and create a program um, for that need so that change can be impacted in that person's life. And I called him and I said, "You going to be in the office today?" He had a bad kidney. His kidneys were bad, and he would have to go to dialysis. And I said, "You're going to be in the office." He still was going to the office, but he would only go on certain days. I said, "I just called to check on you to make sure you're still ticking." He said, "Yeah, I'm still ticking." And I said, "I'm going to come and see you." And I, it really literally, if I don't write things down, they really do slip away, from it. Why my fingernail and came all the way off? Anyway, and so about a couple of weeks went by. No, it was like probably just before Christmas, I believe. And I said, let me call him and see if he's gonna be in the office. And he didn't, it went straight to voicemail. And I said, no, that's just not like him for his phone to go to voicemail. Um, I left a message and I called him maybe a couple days later, and I still didn't get a return call. And I said, something's wrong because it's not like him not to call me back. He always calls me back. And then I said, you know what? Let me look up the state representative and see what's going on, because they always put updated, things on there. And he had died. He died like 3 weeks after I had talked to him. And I was just like really kind of feeling away because I was supposed to go see him and I didn't. And now he's gone, you know. And he taught me when I met him, he gave me such a hard time about not wanting to be married. It is so sad how people are so invested in your personal life. And we just became really good buddies because we was bumping heads. I was like, I don't have to be married if I don't want to. If I don't want to be married, I don't want to be married. And so people come up with all these type of reasons why you don't want to be married. Um, Number one, I enjoy my freedom. To me, it's not that deep because I was married before. I got married young. So I just feel like that's already checked off on my bucket list. Like, why I gotta keep this ain't Elizabeth Taylor. Why I gotta keep getting married over and over again? Mm-mm. I ain't looking for nobody. I'm glad I'm single and content, and I don't get lonely because I got too much to do. I have too much stuff to do. I don't never get lonely. Lonely, what is that? Please. But I'm just enjoying my life. My children are grown. They're all grown, and they have a tendency to try to do things to get underneath your skin and stuff like that. But I just kind of take a step back. I say, you know what? I guess you just got to learn the hard way. Don't call me when you fall, because I might not even be in the country. So sipping with Sky came about because I see so many busy, worn out, burnt out people. And then you're wondering why, because you're worried about what everybody else is doing. You looking all in somebody else's lane. It's like when you running and you got to jump the hurdle. When I was in high school, I ran track. So the girls that jumped the hurdle, I used to ask them, if I had to jump the hurdle, I'd been and broke my neck. How do you guys not trip over the hurdle? Because they're so close together, so close together. It's like one, two, three, jump, one, two, three, jump, one, two, three, jump. And she said, if we look at the hurdle, we will fall. They said we don't look at the hurdle, we look at the end. We look at where we are going. And we time the hurdle. One, two, three, jump. One, two, three, jump. One, two, three, jump. But we look at the end. And isn't that how God deals with us? He shows us the end from the beginning. He said, now this is where you're going to end up. But now this is where you're going to start. And so to me, that takes away all of the guesswork. It takes away all of the, oh, well, what you working on? Well, what you doing? No, all of those are going to lend itself to you being distracted. And when you're distracted, you get slowed down. You're slowed down. And so if you do have a goal for yourself, I may have a deadline for myself. I may have a deadline, but I push myself. See, me, I don't need nobody to hold me accountable. I hold myself accountable. There's no such thing as you can hold somebody accountable. You can't hold anybody accountable for anything. People are their own people. I hold me accountable. So when I have something to do, like I'm working on something right now, and I just been kind of pushing the deadline and pushing the deadline. I'm like, okay, don't push that deadline now. One more day. This is what you want to do. You're going to give yourself less time to get it done because it should already be done. So if you gave yourself, for an example, so if you gave yourself, I'm gonna use something that I've been wanting to do that I've been pushing the deadline on, learning Spanish. I've been pushing the deadline on that thing for so long. So say if you say, all right, I should have learned by now because I've been pushing the deadline. So instead of 60 days, I'm going to learn just the major basic foundational things, and I'm gonna give myself 30 days. And that's it. I'm gonna draw a hard line and say you got 30 days to learn how to say just like hi, bye, just the basic language of Spanish so you can communicate and order something, maybe have a small little teeny tiny incy conversation, like that. But we don't really do that. We give ourselves all the time in the world, like we have all the time in the world. Tomorrow's not promised. And so that right there, sense of not accomplishing, that messes with your brain. And so if you're not accomplishing something in one area, it's going to affect your confidence. See, confidence comes by doing and accomplishing. Confidence doesn't come by sitting back on the sideline. If you want to build confidence, you got to get out and you have to do, you got to fall, make mistakes, get up. When I first started coming online, I was coming on Periscope and I had this small little teeny, I still have it somewhere. I had this small little teeny tripod that wasn't really no bigger than this right here. And I would sit that thing in the corner, and after a while it got old, it would fall. It will fall in the middle of me doing my live. Oh my God, it used to be so crazy. But look at me now. I have my own studio. I have my own studio. And buying a studio or, leasing out this studio was the best thing I could have ever done. Because having a studio at home is cool. But at home, you kind of like have too many distractions. It's like you could go in your bedroom and watch TV. You go in there to watch one thing. Next thing you know, you've been in there for 3 hours and then binge watch whatever the latest thing is out. You could go in the kitchen and you could cook something. It's just too many distractions. When I come to the studio, I know I'm here to get work done, and I can set the atmosphere of what I want that work to be, and I can regulate and get in the flow with no distractions, focus, put my music on or put my purple fire on. And when I look up, whatever I'm working on, I'm done. Just like driving, you look up and you're there. And so I wanted us to really, sip on that and just think about that. Think about what three things can you accomplish tomorrow, and don't get up and get right to work. That's not good for you. You have to get up and ease yourself into your day. So that might mean getting up early. See, I'm an early person. I wake up at 4, I get up at 5. Sometimes I get up at 4:30. So my business doesn't open till 10, from 10 to 7. And so from 5 to 10, I have 5 hours to study my Bible, to pray, to plan out my day, to do what it is. I can regulate and get into the flow. And when I look up, it's 7 o'clock. Like right now, it's 7:24. Have I accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish today? Yes, I did. And not only that, I came on live because this is one thing that I have to incorporate. It's like making a cake. When my grandmother used to make a cake, she made everything from scratch. She folded each ingredient in. She ain't just dump everything all in like it was a dump cake. No, she folded it in. She put the flour, then she put the milk and the eggs, and that's how it is. You just keep adding things to your day as you are, creating, as you are coming up with stuff. Because my creativity, my imagination is through the roof because I'm a writer. And so I'm coming up with ideas all the time. I'm working on an idea right now that I'm so excited about. Well, before I get to that, before I sign off, because I only wanted to be on here for 30 minutes, um, I am looking for people to come on my show. I've created a show um, to talk about narcissism, but in a holistic way. I want to talk about narcissism. I want to share my story first of all. I'm waiting for some equipment to come in, but I'm going to shoot like a little mini series and being here doing my little debut acting and stuff like that. But I want to talk about it from a holistic point of view. I want to talk about it from um, not just from the narcissist. Oh, he do this and they do that, and these are all of the characteristics. I want to talk about it from a health point of view. I want to talk about it from a spiritual point of view because it affects people's health. I just joined an organization today against parental alienation. They are trying to put laws on the books to make parental alienation illegal because it is so serious when you are in a relationship with a narcissist and they turn your children against you. They brainwash your children against you, and they do it in such a subtle, sneaky, underhanded way because children are vulnerable. It's and they're easy to manipulate. And so I literally just joined that group today because I've experienced that in my own life with my own children. And what people don't realize is that parental alienation, what I learned, it doesn't just come from like your ex, spouse or anything like that. It comes from anyone that can influence your child against what you have raised them to be, that can talk your child into doing something that is detrimental to their destiny, detrimental to their health, detrimental to their purpose in life. And I see a lot of young people who are so easily influenced and do not have any confidence. And that's one of the things that I want to kind of put together, like a self, not almost like an assessment, but too many of our children have no, they just have no confidence whatsoever. And it's not about just speaking up for yourself. It's more to it than speaking up for yourself. My grandmother used to say, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's how you do it. And so um, you see them, shrinking and not wanting to belong, acceptance. And this goes with them, it follows them into adulthood. And acceptance is one of the on the hierarchy, the business hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is very strong. It is very strong, especially if you have dealt with the spirit of rejection. A lot of times people will not speak up or say something for fear of not belonging because they want to be liked. And being liked starts with you. Being liked don't start with anybody else. I had a conversation with my daughter where people walk around and say, respect is earned. No, it's not. Respect is not earned. Respect is given. No one can give you what they don't have. If you don't have any respect for yourself, you are not going to give respect to anybody else. Earn is a word that narcissists use. Narcissists always want you to work for validation. They always want you to work for their approval. They always want you to co-sign. When I stand on business, I don't need nobody to co-sign. I don't need no validation. I don't need you to agree with me. I stand alone. And when I say something, I mean exactly what I say. Exactly what I say. And whatever tone I said it in, and whatever volume that my voice was in, I meant every word I said. And oftentimes people, now there have been times where I've said things, I meant what I said, but I probably could have changed my tone about it a little bit sometimes. But for the most part, like I see that like right now on everybody's all up in arms about Nene going back on Bravo. She went back on her word. You sat up there and talked about that man, talked about discrimination, you talked about the man for years and years and years, and you was discriminated and you was done wrong and they didn't pay you and this and that. And then like a little puppy, soon as he called you come running back, you go running back. That means you ain't stand on your word. So that means now he ain't gonna have no respect for you. He don't have no respect for you. None. Because you don't have no respect for yourself. So stop saying respect is earned. I'm not working to earn nobody's respect. Nobody. I am not. Because when you earn something, don't that mean you got to work first? So I'm not earning nothing. I have respect for myself, and therefore I'll give you respect. Sometimes you may not even deserve it, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway because I'm just cool like that. You see what I'm saying? Sip on that. Hmm. So I just needed to get that out. I think that was for somebody because I wasn't really trying to talk about that. But I really want us to take a deep breath and just be aware of your breath. You know, they say we don't really breathe deep enough, that we're supposed to breathe all the way from our diaphragm. When we breathe deep and we let go, we are letting go carbon dioxide. Did you know that if you breathe on a regular basis, deep from your diaphragm and let it out, that it'll help you facilitate the loss of weight? You can lose weight just by breathing, just by, getting out those toxins out of your lungs and out of your body and things like that. And so those are the things that I'm really like thinking about as you get older, you're supposed to get wiser. Even though I don't really go around telling people what my age is and everything, but I think that once you get to a certain point, you just feel so comfortable in your own skin. You just feel so comfortable in your own skin, and you just are not concerned about what people say about you, about what people think about you. Your identity is so locked in. Like you're so locked in to your identity. You're so locked in to who you are. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm like, my cup is running over with the ideas and the things and the impact in the community that I want to make and the things that I want to do, for people. I'm gonna miss my friend. I'm going to miss him. He was very instrumental in me, um, him teaching me and mentoring me into being a campaign manager. He was teaching me, how to campaign manage. Because I told him, I said, I want to run for office. He said, no, you don't. And I said, yes, I do. He said, no. I said, why I can't run for office? He said, because you're too honest. I said, now that's just pitiful. Got a bunch of dishonest people in office. That's what he told me. He said, you're too honest. And he would always tell people, he said, I trust this woman. I was like, you trust me? He's like, I trust you. His other friend said they put me in charge of the project, and I delegated, because that's what I do. I delegated some of the authority to this other lady. They got so upset. They was like, we put you in charge. What you put her in charge for? I was like, I didn't put her in charge. I just put her over a particular section. They was like, we don't trust her. We trust you. I was like, well, I'm still in charge. It's okay. You know? And so that's what I mean when I say that you got to find your rhythm in life. You got to find your rhythm. You got to find your lane. You got to get in there, and you got to get in your flow. And when you're comfortable with yourself like that, it really allows other people to be comfortable around you. The people that I have problems with, well, I ain't even gonna call it problems, child. Mm. But the people that be tripping about me are the people that are liars, the people who are just not above board, phony people. Me and phony people, we don't get along. I will snatch your mask off, and because I see you. And so, for the most part, I've been meeting some amazing people. And I plan on meeting some more amazing people because I'm going to go out. I'm going to start going out a lot. I said I was going to take us on Sundays. I'm going to take us on some field trips. Yeah, I'm going to take us on some field trips. I want to go to where I said I was going to go. Oh, I want to go to the racetrack. I might not bet on no horse because I'm really not a gambler, but I just want to go. I want to go and get cute and dressed up and put on one of them little dainty hats that they be wearing, and just sit there and watch the horses get in the flow and do their thing and win that money. You know what I mean? So I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to unwind. I want you to think about what your flow is. I want you to take your pulse and see, and just hold it and see, you know, how can I get into this particular rhythm? Because black people, we got so much soul. We got so much soul. And it really has changed, a lot about my perspective. I don't get up and rush into my work. I plan everything out. I get up, I regulate, I study my Bible, I pray, I listen to soft music, and I just kind of ease into the day. And it kind of flows. And then sometimes yesterday was my daughter's birthday. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. It was something that I had to step out of the formation, and deal with something. And then I got right back in my flow. I got right back in my flow. I did not allow it to distract me. I didn't allow it to collapse my day. And it was something that could have been very bothersome. But you know what? I got up this morning and I said, I'm going to take communion over it, and I'm just going to release it, and I'm just going to let it go and just let the cards fall where they may. You cannot want for someone more, than what they want for themselves. And so, after that, everything just kind of, just went really just so smooth today. Today was completely opposite of yesterday. Today, everything just went so smooth. I ended up getting like so much work done today. And I think today was a day of double gratitude. Like I was so grateful just for everything. Sometimes when I'm walking inside of a store, I'll thank God for the activity of my limbs because some people can't walk. You know, those things I try to be mindful of that people take for granted. I try to be extra grateful, for those things. I thank God for another day. You know what I mean? I thank God for the progress that I've made in my life. I've made a lot of progress, and I want you to celebrate your small wins because it's no easy feat. It's not an easy feat being an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of courage to be an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of self love. It takes a lot of self respect to want to make impact in the lives of another so that your life and your living won't be in vain. You have not gone through the things that you have gone through for nothing. Life is a schoolmaster. It is always teaching you something. Are you always learning what it's trying to teach you? You can't learn if you're not aware. And if you're going through life too quick and you're racing over here and running over there, you got to get this thing done and that thing done. You're not going to be aware. You're not. you know and so I'm very mindful of that. I say I'm going to kind of like smell the roses as I'm walking through life. I'm going to be aware of that butterfly, that ladybug that I just saw. I was looking out the window today and the ladybug was on my window. I'm going to enjoy those small nuggets, those small clues, those small hints that God give you every single day that you overlook because you're racing through your day. And it's not really good, for your health. You have to regulate yourself, um, because the race is not given to the swift. It's steady as she goes. So don't worry about what your age is, because that your age don't matter. If you really, I love to read biographies, and a lot of the people that are millionaires, they didn't become millionaires, so they was in their 50s and 60s, because it's a lot that you have to know. It's a lot that you have to learn, and by the time you get like in your 40s and all of that, you start to have the capacity to carry what you're called to. Because if you don't have the capacity, if you don't have the character, if you don't have the honesty, if you don't have the respect for yourself, if you do not regulate yourself along the way, you are going to crash and burn. And who's doing the most crashing and burning is young people. They are in so much of a hurry to get to where they are going. And wherever it is you're going, I doubt very seriously that it's going anywhere. It's going to be there when you get there. Sip on that. So, sipping with Sky. I'll be back next Sunday. But it's just, again, I'm folding this thing in because I got to get back into the swing of add one more thing, add one more thing. Okay, you got to do sipping with Sky. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, now you got this show over here to do, and then you got your podcast to do. So I'm just keep adding one more thing and one more thing, and then after a while, everything's just gonna be in there, and I'm just gonna be like, on Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday I'm doing that. So I'm still doing the show about narcissism, but I want to talk about it in a holistic way. I want to talk about it in a spiritual way because you're dealing with evil. You're dealing with evil wrapped in human form. And how does a person go from being, um, right now, what's in the news trying to distract people? The Epstein files. I'm not watching that stuff. I do not want that in my spirit. I don't want it in my thought life. I do because I cannot stand when people do things to children. I will be in here crying and boo-hooing for children I don't even know. I was very overprotective of my children growing up. Nope, you can't spend the night over nobody's house. Nope, they parents trusted me, but I'm not trusting my children with nobody. Mm-mm. It is the most disturbing, and I don't want to be disturbed. Okay, it's the most disturbing thing. What is it that causes a person to want to do these things to a baby? Why? Because you all don't understand the importance of healing your traumas. Your traumas will turn you into a monster because it opens up your soul to be infiltrated by more and more and more negativity. Those things that you experienced as a child, your mommy issues and your daddy issues and your issues. You cannot hold your parents accountable for what they did not have and what they could not give you because you don't know what you don't know, especially if you're a young parent. A lot of times we got these young girls, they having babies, they don't have a clue what to do. They just think they do. And a lot of times they having babies because they don't feel loved. They want something or someone to love them. They want to feel loved. They don't feel love. But this is the thing about that. A lot of times when you have, most of the time, when you have trauma and you don't feel connected to people, is because you're not connected within yourself. Stop looking for things externally to fill your internal voids. A human being, another human being's job is not to fulfill you. They're going to fall short every single time. One of the things that I did to eliminate stress from my life, and you eliminate stress as you're aware, as you see how things affect you in your life, you be like, I need to let that go. I need to not do that anymore. I need to change this thing. See, my thing is always, I'm always working on me. I know me better than anybody know me. You can't tell me nothing about me. Okay? I have to live with me every day. And so a lot of times we are intaking all of this external stuff that we really should be trying to keep out. And we need to be trying to protect our internal, but we don't. We just let everything in. I don't let everything in. I regulate. My internal regulation is on point. I'll be like, oh, that's No, 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 no. We're not going to be doing that. And if I see something that is really trying to come and really try to disturb what it is, I look at that as data. And I said, is this mine to carry, or should I put this down? And some things you just have to put down. And people carry around things that was done to them as a child. I'm not talking about SA because that's a whole nother category. I can't talk about that. I don't know anything about that. I've never been that. But a lot of people have. But regular childhood stuff, oh, I was put on punishment, or my mama hollered at me, or I got spanked. And like whatever your parents didn't do is because they didn't have it to do. So you're going to go through life being angry. You're going to go through life being upset about something that happened 27 years ago. If I felt like what my mom did, I didn't like it, then I did something different. If I didn't like the way she parented me, then I parent my children different. I have never heard so many people have so many gripes and complaints and just the holding on to things about their mamas and papas and this person did this and my cousin did that and I'm blocking this person. All of that reflects on you. That doesn't reflect on other people. If your peace requires for you to block all these people, then you just don't really have peace. Peace is not the absence of noise. You should have peace in the midst of the storm. That's normally when you find out whether you have peace or not. How regulated are you? Can you deal with a situation that comes and get back into formation? My day today was completely opposite of my day yesterday. And even yesterday, I came and I thought about what happened. I let God show me what I was supposed to learn, what data I was supposed to get from that. I got the data. I learned the lesson that I was supposed to learn. And I said, I'm going to put that down. It's not mine to carry. It's not mine to carry. I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to get back in formation. And I'm going to keep on rolling down in my destiny. And that's what I did. And it flipped everything. What y'all do, y'all pick it up, y'all carry it, y'all rehearse it, y'all talk about it, you be upset about it for 5 days. And what does that change? Nothing. It changes nothing. It gets you off track. Now you got a headache. No. And so I really don't want people to be having high blood pressure. I don't want people to be having heart attacks and stuff because you're carrying a load that you're not designed to carry. If you know that you have done the very best that you can, and you know that you have set the very best example in whatever situation you're dealing with, be at peace with that. And if you're not received, if you're misunderstood, if there was miscommunication, it happens. Be okay with that too. But above all things, never expect for somebody to give you something that they don't have. Sip on that. I will be back next Sunday. I'm doing my what am I doing? My time blocks. I'm still looking for people to come on the show to share their stories. And I know it takes a lot of courage to share your story. But I want you to think about your story is going to help someone be set free. Your story is going to give a perspective that someone didn't think about. I this is the first time I'm really sharing my story. I did not share my story. I was following this lady. Some of y'all might have heard this story. I was following this lady on Periscope. Y'all might not remember Periscope, but on Periscope, and That was in the beginning days of me getting on. And I had to stop watching her. And she's a multimillionaire now. She kept bleeding all over people. And she would come on and she would, oh my God, she was not over her ex husband, child. She was so angry with that poor man. And she would come on and talk about that man. And I used to be like, Lord have mercy, this one, I can't even watch her. She bleeding all over the people. But she kept on coming on and she kept on bleeding all over the people. I guess she bled until she got healed. And now she's very famous now. And she's making a lot of money. And I just remember thinking, man, we started out at almost pretty much the same time. And she is some would say that she is far ahead of me. But this is what I say. I share my testimony at a time where I am completely healed. I have walked the journey. I have so many gems and jewels and nuggets that I've learned along the way. And so I do not want to share from a place of brokenness. I want to share from a place of power. I want to share from a place of someone who have been forged in the furnace of affliction, someone who has walked through the fire and come out on the other side, unburned, not burned, not smelling like the smoke. There's no soot on my face. But what can fire do to fire? I am fired now because I've been through the trials. I've been tested. I've been tried. I got the battle scars to prove it. And so when I step on that stage, you will be changed. How do I know you're going to be changed? Because I was changed. I was changed. And although I'm happy for her, my point is, even though we're all going in the same direction, we don't get off both at the same exit. So I will see you guys next week, next Sunday. I'll probably see you guys before then. I'm trying to format the show. I'm trying to get people for the show to come on and share their testimonies. Some people are scared, and I understand that, but I'm trying to give them a space. That's why my studio is the way that it is. Very comfortable, very cozy, makes you feel like you're at home, so that you can know that you're in a safe place, and that you can share your story and to help someone else along the way. I'll see you guys next Sunday. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Did I?